They say when a woman goes quiet, she is either praying or calculating. Tunde thought I was praying for our marriage. I was calculating the cost of his funeral, financially speaking. His friends used to say it every time they saw him at the club. Tunde, you are a big man. He believed them. He believed it so completely that he forgot one essential thing: on the chair he was sitting on, the car he was driving, the office he walked into every morning wearing his Italian shoes. All of it had been built on a foundation that was not him. It was me. And while he was busy playing husband to a girl in Lekki, I was busy becoming the legal owner of everything he had ever called his own. Today, Tunde is a man with a big name and an empty pocket. But before the fall, there was the discovery. It started with a cent. It moved to a bank alert. And it ended with a signature, my signature on a document designed to send me to prison while he escaped to another country. If you think you know how a betrayal ends, stay with me. Because in this story, the person who stirs the pot is the only one who knows how much salt is in the soup. I want to tell you the worst thing first, so you understand everything that comes after it. At the bottom of a loan guarantee document, a document for 50 million naira borrowed from private lenders, the kind who do not go to court when they want their money back, the kind who go to your house, at the bottom of that document was my signature. My slanted B. The specific way I cross my T. The exact proportion of my initials. I had not signed anything. Tunde had used a digital tracing tool to copy my signature from a company filing I had done in 2021. He had made me the sole guarantor on a debt he had no intention of repaying. The terms of the guarantee were clear: if the loan was not repaid within 30 days of the notice period, the lenders had the right to seize the guarantor's assets. Not the company. Me. My name. My property. My freedom. He was going to take the 50 million, move it into Vivian's account, and disappear, leaving me standing in front of men with crowbars and a document bearing my own handwriting. I sat in that server room for 11 minutes after I found it. Not crying. Thinking. Because the thing about being an accountant is this: when you understand exactly what has been done to you, you also understand exactly what needs to be done in return. And I understood it completely. My name is Bisi. I am a chartered accountant. Not was. AM. That distinction matters because for 7 years inside my marriage, Tunde worked very hard to make me forget it. When we started T-Logistics, we had one second-hand truck, a storage unit in Mushin, and a business plan I had written across 3 nights at the dining table while Tunde slept. I was the one who filed the CAC registration. I was the one who negotiated our first freight contract, a 6-month pilot with a pharmaceutical distributor in Isolo that I had cold called 17 times before they agreed to a meeting. I was the one awake at 2 a.m. tracking the drivers on the road. I was the one who settled the LASMA officials when they impounded the truck on Lagos Island. And Tunde's phone was off. I managed the VAT returns, the PAYE remittances, and the quarterly audits. And as the money grew, the one truck became 4, then 8, then 11. Tunde's memory of all of this became very, very short. He started saying things like, "Bisi, you don't need to worry about the office anymore. Just make sure my mother is comfortable when she visits." His mother would arrive from Ibadan and walk through my house and say, "Our wife, this too needs more fish." A big man like Tunde cannot be eating like a commoner. I would smile. I would go back to the kitchen. And in my head, I would finish calculating the quarterly tax provision I had been working on before she knocked. I was useful, so I was invisible. In Lagos, they call a woman like me our wife. It sounds like an honor. It is a cage with a warm name. The first sign of rain is never the storm. It is the change in the wind. Tunde started coming home at 11 o'clock. Sometimes midnight. He smelled of island rose, a perfume from a boutique on Odiola Odiku that cost more than my monthly kitchen budget. When I asked, he would say, it was a meeting with a high-end client, Bisi. You wouldn't understand the island lifestyle. I understood the island lifestyle very well. I had financed most of it. One Tuesday, while he was in the shower, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. A bank alert. Not from our joint account. From an account I had never seen, a number I did not recognize. 5 million naira was debited. The transaction description said, Furniture Suite 402. My heart did not break. It went cold. I am an accountant. When money moves without a proper description, there is either negligence or a crime. That amount, that description, that account, there was no negligence here. I put the phone back exactly where it was. I waited for him to sleep. Then I took his keys from the gym bag on the bedroom chair. Behind his protein powder and his spare running shoes, there was a receipt. Folded twice. From a jewelry store in Victoria Island. 850,000 naira. A gold bracelet. I looked at my own wrist. Bear. I looked at the name on the receipt. Vivian O. I did not wake him. I did not confront him. I went to the kitchen. I made myself a cup of tea. I sat at the dining table, the same table where I had written the original business plan 7 years earlier, and I opened a new notebook. A detective does not stop at a name. A detective looks for the full picture. And I was going to get every single piece of it. I went to the office the next morning before Tunde was awake. I went to the server room, the one I had personally set up in 2019, the one whose master password lived in my head and nowhere else, because I had never written it down and I had never given it to anyone, including Tunde. He had forgotten I built it. That was his second mistake. I logged into the deep accounting files, the ones behind the operational dashboard, the ones that required administrator access. The ones Tunde had never learned to navigate because in the years when I could have taught him, he had already decided that the back office was beneath him. What I found made the room feel smaller. Tunde had not just been spending our profits on Vivian. He had been borrowing. Not from banks. From private lenders, 3 separate individuals, the kind whose contracts are written in language so specific it can only mean one thing: we will find you. The total across all 3 is 50 million naira. I sat with that number for a moment. Then I opened the guarantee document. And that is when I saw my signature. My slanted B. The specific cross on my T. The proportional spacing of my initials that I had developed over 15 years of professional document signing. A perfect copy. Made from a scan of my signature on a 2021 company filing that I had submitted to the Corporate Affairs Commission. He had not just stolen money. He had stolen my identity and used it to build a trap with my name on the door. The loan terms were 30 days from notice of default. After that, the guarantor's personal assets were subject to immediate seizure. Not the company. Not Tunde. The guarantor. Me. My car. My property. The small land I had bought in my own name in Oja in 2020 that Tunde did not know about because I had paid for it from a private account I maintained for exactly this kind of reason, because my father had told me, Bisi, always have something that is only yours. Even that if they found it would be gone. He had structured it so that when the lenders came, he would be somewhere else. Accra. London. Dubai. It did not matter where. And I would be the one opening the door. I stood in that server room and I looked out at the yard. 11 trucks. 14 drivers. 3 warehouse contracts and a government clearing license that had taken me 7 months and 4 ministries to obtain. Tunde's name was on the signboard. But I knew with the precision of someone who had signed every document, managed every account, settled every official, and tracked every naira from the first truck to the 11 that his name on that signboard was the only thing in the entire operation that belonged exclusively to him. Everything else was mine. In a different kind of story. I would have called a lawyer immediately. I would have walked into our bedroom that night and told him what I had found. I would have cried, or screamed, or done what most people expect a woman to do when she discovers she has been used as a financial weapon by her own husband. But I am an accountant. And an accountant who discovers a fraud does not announce the investigation before it is complete. He thought he was playing a game with a village girl who knew how to cook and keep house. He forgot that the village girl had a first-class degree in accounting, 12 years of professional experience, and the master password to every system his empire ran on. He wanted me to be his fall girl. I would become something else entirely. I would become the only person in this story who knew exactly where every kobo was hidden. And I would use every single piece of that knowledge carefully, legally, completely, to make sure that when the fall came, it fell in the right direction. In part 2, I will show you the 14 days of silence. I will show you how I moved every asset Tom thought he owned. One question before you go. If you had found what I found, would you have told him immediately? Or would you while still serving him dinner every night? I will show you the afternoon I called Vivian. And I will show you what Vivian told me that made even his own mother close her door to him. One question before you go. If you had found what I found, would you have told him immediately? Or would you have stayed silent and finished the audit? Tell me in the comments. Because your answer reveals more about you than you think. Subscribe to African Chronicle Tales. The harvest is coming.